Welcome, welcome, welcome all. What a dominating performance tonight by our New York Mets, dominating, beating the crap out of the Minnesota Twins 15-2. Didn't even look competitive, folks. It could have been actually by a lot more that we dominated. I felt later in the game when they brought in their position player that the ump was actually given a lot of ball calls, strikes in that eighth and ninth inning, or I'm sorry, that eighth inning. So it could have been a lot worse, but I gotta say, folks, Jesse Winker, this was his first game that he started. This is what I was saying the whole time. I'm like, you know what? Jesse Winker is an on-base machine. They actually mentioned that he's got the sixth highest on base in all of baseball. He came in the game batting 373, and that's the perfect type of guy we need. That type of attitude, he meshes in perfect. I mean, almost I'm thinking, who could he remind me of? A 30-year-old guy, who could put up 10 home runs, 80 RBI, good clubhouse presence, on base machine. You know what? I kind of looked at some of the numbers, and this guy actually is reminiscent of a guy like Justin Turner. The type of glue piece Turner, what he did to the LA Dodgers. Look at their numbers, folks. This is the type of key cog that I feel we needed on this team. Really. Honestly, I'm so happy with that pickup. I know a lot of people will complain, well, he's not the offensive machine that we need, and I don't know if he's going to give the output on this team or have the offensive output. No, it's not all about who's going to have the highest numbers or the most home runs. This guy is a productive piece, and he fits exactly what we need. Did you see the approach by all of our hitters? Every single hitter had the same approach. We were working every single count from the start in the third inning, and I wish Richardson on the other team, former Met, Simeon Woods Richardson, for 2 innings, you look good. The 23-year-old looked decent, but we wore him down in the third inning. He almost threw 40 pitches. I'm turning around. I'm saying, oh my God, are they going to let this guy continue to throw? He's a 23-year-old. When are they going to bring in somebody from the bullpen? I mean, that third inning, when we batted 10 guys, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. Who knew that 2 innings later or 1.5 innings later, we were going to bat 11 guys? I mean, this game was a display of offense. Up and down the lineup, one approach. Every hitter who came in, I believe they said got a hit. I mean, lights out performance by the New York Mets. And you look at guys, when you bring in guys like Winker, what is the type of effect they have on your players? Pete Alonso, last 2 games, now we're cooking. Pete had a bomb today. He had a double. He took a pitch off on the outside corner and he laced it in the right center field gap. This is the type of hitting I need Pete. I don't need Pete trying to pull everything. When you see Pete trying to pull everything, you know he's going to get into a rut. But when I saw him take that ball in the outside corner and lace it for a double and get to the wall, that's the type of mode we need Pete. Pete's got more power than anybody in the league. He can go deep anywhere. He can go deep center field, right center. It doesn't matter. That's the type of mindset Pete needs. He needs to be disciplined. He needs to be patient. Winker, that's what he adds to the lineup. That's what he adds to the clubhouse. That type of dynamic. Quintana today, good performance. He went 6 very strong innings. He had a little trouble. I mean, a tiny bit of trouble in the 6th inning. 2 runners were on base. He struck out. I forgot who he struck out in the 6th inning. He struck out Martin to end the inning, but that was all she wrote. Jose Butto came in, and I gotta say, I was a little surprised that they ran Jose Butto for 3 innings, but then you hear Gelbs, from the broadcast saying, well, they're trying to stretch out Butto and give themselves options because Butto might transition to a starter, this and that. Honestly, I don't even want to hear that. I want him to be a long man. If we need another starter, go get a starter. Go get a starter, David Stearns. I don't care. We need help in the pen, right? We need help in the pen, and we need help in the starting rotation. You're telling me my long man guy, who is a weapon, Jose Budo is a goddamn weapon. He could go 3 innings. He could spot start. He can get key outs. It is so vital. And right now, the bullpen is rolling. So why not? Why not throw him in the starting rotation? I know you have holes to fill in the starting rotation. I know with Tyler McGill and David Peterson not pitching at that elite level, you're going to have to fill in holes. But this is where we're going to have to pull something off. You hear things today about Snell. I just heard in the last couple hours that the Mets were possibly interested or looking at the price of Snell, but the Giants right now, they will eat nothing of the contract, right? So they are looking for top prospects, and they so far have said they are eating none of the contract. So it looks like that's a bit of where the stalemate is now. And then we know Blake Snell hasn't had a lights out year. So, I mean, it's a little bit part of who's going to play chicken right now. Who's going to blink? Is it going to be the teams looking for Blake Snell? Because Blake Snell, I'll tell you, there are a few teams. If it's the Mets, it's the Yankees, you have the Orioles, they're interested. You have a few teams interested. But none of these top guys right now, last I refreshed, have gone. Garrett Crochet, Jack Flaherty, Skubal, if he was ever going to be traded. But none of these top echelon tier guys have been traded. Blake Snell, so that's probably going to happen tomorrow. The most recent trade we have of starting pitchers, you have Kikuchi from the Blue Jays going to the Astros, and right off the bat, everybody's saying how, oh my God, it was a mega return. And I kind of laugh every time I hear reaction like that, because they're just prospects right now. How many times have you heard this guy's going to be the next biggest thing, and he's a bum, he's a flop? Now, I know Kikuchi is not, a world beater. He's just more or less like a lefty innings eater, but still, you just never know. If he's going to take the Astros or give the Astros what they need, the Astros, they're going to give up, prospects. I remember I was looking at the farm systems. Most people rank the Astros as like a bottom 3 farm system. They were ranked 28, 29, 30, depending on which publication you were looking at. So, I mean, really, how good are their top prospects anyway as compared to other organizations? All right, well, I'm not going to pretend to know Houston Astros prospects. I'm just saying, I've heard all the time, they gave this guy up in the trade, they gave up that kid, and he's going to turn out to be the next big thing. Jared Kelenic, yeah, we heard about that. Not so hot right now. So we've heard it before, and if the Astros think that Kikuchi is going to be that extra piece, so be it. Okay, but what do we care? All right, but that's my thing. My thing about prospects, everybody loves their prospects, but if you got to make a move, we have an opportunity to pick up a starting pitcher. You're going to have to execute. David Stearns, come up with multiple packages of prospects that you are comfortable giving up and put something together to improve the team. You see, we got the offense, right? We added Jesse Winker. I like the way that piece fits. I love the way that piece fits. I've heard the criticism. I heard, we could have got better. No, this is the perfect guy. We gave up, in my opinion, not the biggest return, Tyler Stewart. Nice pitcher. He was ranked the 23rd best prospect on our organization. Not a top 20, not a top 10, not a top 15. So I wish him well. It looks like the ceiling on Tyler Stewart is going to be anywhere from a number 4 starter. So it is what it is. Nationals, that they need pitching. I mean, so do we, but we need to win. Now, let's take advantage of the opportunity. And that's why I see so many teams in this, because I believe so many people want to seize the moment. Seize the moment! That's my big thing. Okay, so more back to the game today. And, it was so funny hearing Keith Hernandez on the broadcast today. Keith was, the Keith, I love the way he's honest. Basically saying it's pathetic. It's pathetic to play against a team that's playing this bad. So I found that interesting. But Quintana, they were going on and on the broadcast about how I found this funny too about how Minnesota was the best team in all of baseball of hitting curveballs. They're the best. They have like I have it written down here. They had like a 712 OPS against hitting curveballs. I'm like, all right, I didn't know that was the best. 712, not the best OPS. It's not a great OPS. It's okay. But I'm like, okay, they're a great curveball team. But Quintana apparently was throwing half his pitches were curveballs. 49% of his pitches were curveballs. So, and then they said normally he only throws 28% percent of his pitches. So today, his curveball was working. It was electric. It was moving all over the place. So that kind of led me to kind of like let me look at Quintana's like advanced stats. How is this guy doing? And I was actually shocked. I brought up Baseball Savant. And honestly, it kind of shocked me. It shocked me. Jose Quintana, as decent as he's been, has some of the worst baseball savant numbers for 2024. Last couple of years were pretty decent, but 2024, I mean, it's basically saying that he's getting by luck. His advanced numbers are putrid. They're horrible. And not only led me to believe more, I'm like, okay, when we face the elite competition, when everybody's, when it's playoff time, I could see a guy like Quintana maybe getting crushed. I mean, I'm hoping that, that's not the case, but it just led me to believe. I'm like, okay, that's more the reason where we need another starter. So, and here's the thing, and I said this earlier in our live stream. I said the two guys that I would be happy coming away with and going to war for the rest of the season if we got two guys, Chris Bassett, number one, and number two, Tanner Scott, right? So you would have a starting pitcher who is already successful in New York. We don't have to worry about any adjustment periods. We don't have to worry if he can do it. I think Chris Bassett, it would be a hell of an addition. Plus, you go to the playoffs. You have Kodai Senga potentially coming back. So I think that's a great move. That's a great move. And maybe you don't have to give it as much as you would in another trade for one of those top guys like a Skubal, a Jack Flaherty, even a Blake Snell. That's my opinion. Bassett's 35 years old. So I would explore that. I would heavily explore that. The other thing, I know it would cost us more, but I would explore Tanner Scott, a lefty fireballer, and I know you got a lot of teams going after him, but I think that particular piece would elevate our bullpen to that next level. We'd have Diaz from the right side, you would have Stanek, fireballer wise, and then you would have a fireballer Tanner Scott from the left side. I mean, that would be awesome. And then you got guys who throw the ball softer, but they got crazy movement. Danny Young, Alex Young, those two guys. Alex Young's a nasty type of lefty, but he doesn't throw like Tanner Scott. He's got a different repertoire. And then you have Jose Budo, your long man. And then you got Sean Reed Foley, Reed Garrett, to Daniel Nunez. I mean, this bullpen would be lights out. And even if you decided to get a Tanner Scott, right? Let's say you want to go all in with a Tanner Scott. You want to give up good prospects. I would feel more comfortable if you were going to bring in a Jose Budo to your starting rotation. If you solidified the bullpen in that regard. If you're going to bring Jose Budo in, you better damn sure you solidify the bullpen. If you're going to put that guy in your starting rotation. Otherwise, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's what you're going to do. So, okay, so let's go to more facts about this game. And I'll say this right now. I'll say this. So it was See, I'm looking at my scorebook. It's it's hard to figure out the damn fourth inning because so many guys batted. But Alonso had a big home run. I'm telling you, I believe it made it 2-1 at that point. And I've given Alonso a lot of heartache. I've said that he hasn't had many big hits, and frankly he hasn't. They actually showed a stat that Alonso thus far with runners in scoring position is hitting 208, which is a lot lower than his career average. So he's leaving a lot to be desired with runners in scoring position. But today he came through. The fourth inning, I believe, really got off, in that positive direction because of him. And then after that, Winker walked. Vientos double. McNeil today was smoking the ball. So I mean, the hitting coaches on the Mets, I have to give them credit because the approaches this year of certain players who have been in funks. Lindor last year, McNeil as of recently, even Nimmo's been in a funk this game. He's breaking out. But McNeil, I see the way he's swinging right now, and he's swinging with more power. He's swinging, more line drive. He's not looping the ball. I used to complain. I'm like, McNeil, I used to get so frustrated when I used to hear, oh, McNeil's going to play golf or McNeil loves golf because he had a golf swing. I hated the way he would just like literally softly golf everything. That's not how that's not how a productive major leaguer swings. Right? Or else everybody would have a golf swing. You need to have a level swing. So right now, what I'm noticing with Jeff McNeil is he's having a more level swing than he ever has. And what I do like about, and this is actually, I'll give you another observation I have about Jeff. What Jeff has been doing as of late, and I thought of it as a negative, but now I see it as a positive. So Jeff, everything that was like a foot inside, 6 inches inside, Jeff McNeil would pull. He would rip it, and I'm like, every time he did that, he would waste a strike. And I could see pitchers intentionally throwing the ball 6 inches inside and get Jeff to swing. Now, and Jeff would always he kept hitting rockets to the in the foul stands, but obviously it wasn't hurting the pitcher, and the pitcher was getting a strike. But now, what I see over the last couple games, last week or so, it seems like that's how Jeff is getting going. He's putting good back on the ball, and I don't know if it's getting his confidence going, but he's feeling the contact. A lot of times guys have to feel that they're making good contact. It may be a foul ball swing, but you're like, you know what? I was right on that. My timing's good. If I wait back a half a second and the ball is more over the plate, it's going to go in fair territory down the line. And that's what Jeff's doing. So I got to give Jeff a lot of credit with that because I'm noticing those observations. I'm noticing that. Bader today, I give him a bit of credit. He got hit in the foot. He stayed tough. He stayed in there. I give him credit because I know it probably got hurt to get hit in the foot. Alonso, like I mentioned, he did good. A double, a home run, a base on ball. McNeil, I believe he had 3 RBIs, but up and down the lineup. I mean, from Torrens and I gotta say this. I gotta say this. Taylor came in, and you give him all the credit in the world to come in for Winker, and I was like, coming in the 6th inning, I didn't really care for, but I understand what Martinez was trying to do. Mendoza was trying to do, and Taylor just basically just showed you why this team right now is on another level. See one thing. Yeah, so Tyrone Taylor, 7th inning comes. Jose Budo throws one pitch. Taylor drifts back to right field. Rob jumps over the wall and robs a home run. I'm thrilled. I am going nuts. I'm like, that's what you need to do. And that was actually a very key move. I questioned it initially, but then I'm like, okay, that's why you make that move right there. That is exactly why you made that move. Then shortly after that, it was a tapper hit to the shortstop hole. Tyrone Taylor hit a tapper, and basically the first baseman was playing way off first base. He had to run to first in order to be there for the throw by the second baseman, and Taylor just showed hustle. He beat it out. That's a lot of play that, players hit weak ground balls to the second baseman, and then they lollygag. They lollygag, but not Tyrone Taylor. And it is that attitude up and down the damn lineup. Everybody wants to win. We are playing as one together. Nobody pointing fingers. Nobody getting mad at each other. We are together. And that's why, I like the Winker trade. It was fit perfect with our dynamic, our culture. And look at this. First game, he's a full part of it, or at least until he got taken out. Our approach, our discipline, it showed up and down the lineup. Everybody from starter to guy who came in, from bench player, got a hit. It was just damn phenomenal. Let me just want to make sure I got all my notes. And there was even a play early on that, you could see when Pete is on. Like, Pete, I feel like his offense, when he's on offensively, it triggers his defense. There's some guys like, Lindor. I feel like Lindor's defense triggers his offense, and they're both aspects of his game are like, have been really on a different level. But like, he made a nice stretch early on. It was a ball grounder to Vientos. Vientos drew it high. Pete made a nice stretch, held the bag, and there was another ball that was actually up kind of the line, and it was going into the runner, and Pete made like a nifty play to hold the bag and catch the ball. So Pete actually made a couple really nice plays this game on the defensive side, and obviously, as I already mentioned, he hit well. So, Pete, in my opinion, was extremely key. Extremely key. Got an offense going, made a couple nice key defensive plays, really showed himself to be a leader. And if he continues to play like that, make winning plays. You make winning plays. Tyron Taylor, winning plays. Quintana, great, kept this in there. But you're going to see all these winning plays. And all these plays in a game, they add up. You have winning plays and they add up. So, and I keep forgetting to say this. If you didn't get a chance, please like and subscribe. The more you like our videos, the more they're shown, the better it is for the channel. So please help us out. Continue to like and subscribe. I mean, if you're here right now, I really thank you. You are one of our great members. Like and subscribe. Honestly, I never say that. I used to actually say that more, but I'm noticing we got to keep liking and subscribing. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I believe we got everything. We had a killer day. Still going into tomorrow, we need a relief pitcher, we need an extra relief guy, and we need a pitcher. I told you my two guys where I would go away happy with Chris Bassett, because my thing is he's been successful in New York, and he shouldn't cost as much as those other guys, top guys. And I want Tanner Scott. That's what I want, hands down, because that way I could be more creative in my bullpen. If I need to bring Jose Budo as a spot starter, I can do that, because now I know that my entire bullpen is really, these guys can hold it down. You got a couple of fireballers, guys who have been proven, and I'd be a lot more comfortable in that regard. All right. Well, thank you so much for everybody. As always, let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. This is like the best feeling that it's been in quite some time. And actually, let me check one thing, because I know the Braves were losing. I want to see exactly where we are in the standing. I think we should be like a game behind the Braves. MLB standings. Let's go. All right, so we're obviously 56 and 50. Wild card. Yes, there we go. So we are a half game out behind Atlanta for the number one wild card spot again. So Atlanta, they went back to losing. So we're actually tied with the Padres. Arizona D-backs are a half game out. So it seems like you have four teams right now jockeying for position. But it almost seems like the Atlanta Braves have, they're trending the worst. San Diego's been doing well as of late. The D-backs are doing well as of late, and you have the Braves really kind of tailing off. Let me see something. I just want to see because we had 15 runs that we scored today. So just so everybody knows right now, and we actually just did a lot of this in the last 2 months. So we have 521 runs scored for the year. The next highest or the highest in the National League is actually, so you have the D-backs. The D-backs, wow. So they have the most at 536. Then you have the Dodgers at 528. And then you have the Mets, who have the third best offense in the National League at 521 runs scored. And then if you look at all of baseball, you have two more teams that would be ahead. So the Mets are the fifth best offense in terms of runs scored. The only two teams in the American League that have higher runs scored are the Baltimore Orioles and the vaunted New York Yankees. So, but all right, so that's pretty interesting. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. I plan to do a live stream tomorrow, sometime after 6 o'clock. I'm working till 4:30, and then I gotta go pick up my car's at the mechanic. Hopefully, it's fixed. So, I will see each and every one of you tomorrow. I appreciate everything. Honestly, we had a great live stream today. It felt really good. But I honestly I can't really do anything without you. So thank you. I love this community. I'm so happy. Well, I will speak to you very soon and have a great night.